Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Zone, the podcast that helps you speak English with confidence, fluency, and, of course, a little bit of fun. I'm John, and as always, I'm here with my amazing co-host, Emma. How's it going today, Emma?
Hey, John! I'm doing great today, and I'm so excited about this episode because we're diving into something that everyone wants to master, speaking English naturally. We're talking about how to sound like a native speaker, or at least like someone who's totally comfortable with the language. But guess what? It's easier than you think. And today, we're going to show you how.
That's right. I mean, who doesn't want to sound like they've been speaking English for years, even if they've only been learning it for a few months, right? We all want to speak smoothly without having to stop and think about every word. And here's the thing. It's totally possible. Today, we're going to give you some super practical tips and tricks to help you speak naturally. Whether you're chatting with a friend, ordering food, or even in a business meeting.
Exactly! And don't worry, you don't need to become a grammar expert overnight. You don't need to be perfect. What you need is to practice regularly, to use common phrases, and most importantly, to have fun with it. So let's jump in, and by the end of this episode, you'll feel like you've got a few extra tricks up your sleeve to sound like you've been speaking English for ages.
Let's start with one of the most important tips for speaking English naturally. Keep it simple. You might have learned a lot of vocabulary and grammar, but here's the thing. You don't need to overcomplicate things. I see so many learners trying to use big, complicated words or phrases to sound impressive. But that's not how native speakers talk. Native speakers don't throw around huge words every second. They keep things short, sweet, and simple.
Yes, I think one of the biggest mistakes new learners make is overthinking every sentence. They think they need to use big words to sound smart. But guess what? Simple words are what make you sound clear and natural. For example, instead of saying, I am uncertain about my ability to comprehend the situation, just say, I'm not sure. It's the same thing, but much easier to say and understand.
Exactly, Emma. Keep it short. Keep it real. Let's face it, no one wants to hear you going on and on like you're reading from a textbook. You're not a robot. You're having a conversation, and that's what matters. Example. Instead of saying, I am not sure if I will be able to attend the meeting, you can simply say, I'm not sure if I can make the meeting. Shorter, cleaner, and way more natural.
All right, next up, contractions. If you want to sound like a native speaker, you need to start using contractions. Native speakers use them all the time without even thinking about it. If you don't use them, you're going to sound too formal and kind of stiff.
I know, right? Can you imagine walking up to someone and saying, "I am happy to meet you"? It sounds so stiff and awkward. A native speaker would say, "I'm happy to meet you." It's quick, it flows, and it sounds natural. So don't be afraid of those little contractions like I'm, your, we're, there, can't, don't, and won't. They are essential for sounding natural.
Exactly. And let's be real, we use contractions in almost every sentence. For example, instead of saying, I am going to the store, you can say, I'm going to the store. Short, sweet, and totally normal.
I mean, can you imagine speaking English without contractions? You'd sound like a robot. So get comfortable using them. They're your best friend. Example, instead of saying, I cannot believe how hot it is today, just say, I can't believe how hot it is today. It's simpler and sounds way more natural.
Okay, next up, fillers. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Aren't fillers bad? Well, not always. Fillers are words like well, and like. Native speakers use them all the time, especially when they need a moment to think. They're totally normal, and when used correctly, they make your speech sound much more relaxed and authentic.
Oh, yeah. Is my best friend, especially when I'm trying to think of the next word to say. And you know what? It's okay. If you're having a conversation and you need a second to think, just say, or well, and then continue. Native speakers do it all the time. It's real life.
Absolutely. It's all about sounding natural. For example, if you're explaining something and you need a second to gather your thoughts, you could say, well, I think I left it on the table. It gives you time to think, and it sounds like a real conversation.
And if you say like too much, don't stress. It happens to everyone. I mean, like is a very popular filler word. Just make sure it's not distracting. The key is to use fillers to sound natural, not like you're overthinking your words.
Okay, let's talk about idioms and phrasal verbs. These are the secret sauce that can make you sound like a true native speaker. They're the kind of expressions that native speakers use every day without even thinking about it, and they really spice up your conversations.
Oh yes, idioms are gold. Phrases like break the ice, hit the nail on the head, and burning the midnight oil are super fun and sound natural. You can use them in everyday conversations, and they'll make you sound like you know the language inside and out.
Yes, and phrasal verbs are just as important. These are phrases like pick up, meaning to learn something, or turn on, meaning to start something, or hang out, meaning to spend time with friends. If you want to sound more natural, using phrasal verbs is key.
So instead of saying, I don't know where I left it, try saying, I can't find it. Instead of, I'm going to study all night, say, I'm going to burn the midnight oil. It sounds cooler and more authentic, and it's something native speakers use every day.
Smiling. And finally, the most important tip, be confident. Don't worry about being perfect. The more you speak, the more comfortable and natural you'll become. And here's the secret. Have fun with it. The more fun you have, the more confident you'll feel. and the more natural your speech will sound.
That's so true, Emma. When you stop worrying about making mistakes and start enjoying the process, everything flows so much better. Think about it. No one speaks perfectly all the time. It's about expressing yourself, being understood, and connecting with others. So don't be afraid to laugh at yourself when you make a mistake. That's part of learning.
And trust me, mistakes are your best teachers. I can't tell you how many times I've said something wrong, but I learned so much from those moments. It's all part of the journey. So keep speaking, keep practicing, and just enjoy the ride.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the English Zone. We hope these tips help you speak English more naturally, with confidence and ease. Remember, practice makes perfect, but most importantly, have fun with it.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your friends who are also on their English learning journey. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.